everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress, and you work on whatever it is you want to be working on. You can pull out a craft project and work alongside. You can do a house project. You can be driving. You can be walking. You can be at work. You can do pretty much whatever it is that you want to do. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay, and I mainly do diamond painting and crafting content, sprinkled with a little bit of craziness here and there. If you've been here before, hi, welcome back. If you're wondering why this WIP Chat wasn't up on a Monday morning like it normally is, boy, do I have a story for you guys. So if you see me going back and forth and like leaving little areas undone, this is the Angel de Los Muertos. I have the light pad underneath so you can kind of see a lot of things that I've left open. But I am trying to use special drills in certain areas, and I may be leaving them empty so that when I take a look from a further distance, it's easier for me to tell what I'm working on. You guys are seeing this upside down because I'm working on her upside down. But here is what the image looks like. If you want to focus, that would be great. I'm just going to put a picture of it on the screen because that makes it easier. I am trying to put some sparklers in her wings and not her hair, but because both the wings and the hair are the same color with the same accents, it makes it a little bit difficult. So I'm just going to get into it. So, like I said, if you guys are new here, hi, welcome. But if you've been here before, you know I can't say I guarantee, but I tend to do a WIP Chat. I film them usually on Sundays, and then I get them up Monday morning. Well, my plans were foiled last night, you guys. So I'm going to tell you all about that, and then I'm going to go and recap the week for you. So last night, if you guys don't know, my husband and I share our craft space. He does his business stuff, which if you don't know, my husband customizes Funko Pops. He is the DaddaMonster. All of his information is always linked down below. He also has a YouTube channel. Go check him out. Send him some love. Anyway, he works up here. I work up here. And we have a security system on our home. And when any door or window with the security sensor is opened, it just pings. We did not have our alarm set because it was still during waking hours, and we were, like I said, both up here. But I heard it ping, and I was like, what the hell? And then I heard a door slam, and I was like, okay, that was definitely in our house. So we ran downstairs, and as the protective man that he is, you know, he wanted me to take a step back so that he could make sure there was nobody in the house and everything was okay. I immediately went and checked on my daughter. She was fine. She was sleeping. This is like 9:30 at night. So I should have been recording. Honestly, I should have been recording before that happened. But I should have been recording. Might have been like 9:30. So he opens the door and he hears my neighbor go, "Brian." And he's like, "Yes?" And she's like, "I just wanted to make sure that everything was all right." Yeah, why wouldn't they be? So turns out my neighbor took it upon herself to open our door and walk into our home. This is not a neighbor that like, oh my God, we're best friends. And we live in a townhouse, so like we share a wall. I was like, what the F is happening here? And she's going on and on. So she legit opened the door, walked into our house, was in our house for like a good minute, and then walked out of the house. Now, according to her, two things happened. They contradict each other. So this is how fun my night was. According to her, she rang the doorbell 3 times, called my husband, knocked, opened the door, walked inside, yelled, "Is everyone okay?" and then left. Also, according to her, she walked in or peeked her head in, whispered, "Is everyone okay?" and then closed the door. Bitch, no, you didn't. You were in my house. So my husband said, "Lindsay, why don't you just go talk to her like woman to woman." This is a woman that's in her like mid 50s, like 55, 56-ish. And she was outside, drunk per usual, and she was having a cigarette, and I was like, look, we need to talk about this. Like, I don't know what your reasoning behind it was, but you can't just walk into someone's home. And she started to get into this argument with me, and then her super trashy boyfriend, or flavor of the month, I don't know who he is, he's in and out of that house, not my business, you're an adult, you do what you have to do. But anyway, she, I guess, had called him, and he came over, immediately cracked open a beer, already seemed intoxicated, so that's great. And I'm assuming he's even older than her. Again, I don't care, not valid to my story, or literally anything I'm talking about. So, he's like, if you have such a problem with this, then you can call the police. And I go, you're damn right I'm going to call the police. So I called the police, because why wouldn't I call the police? You you came into my house uninvited. Well, we called the police, which Brian didn't want to do unless it was like a last resort thing, because he was hoping that as adults we could resolve whatever her reasoning was for coming into my home without having to involve the police, because, you know, there's more important things going on than your neighbor coming into your house tanked out of her mind. So, and she also didn't deny that she was in the house, which is, again, super, super weird. So, what color do I want to work on next? Like I said, I'm working on multiple things at once. Actually, let's work on the skin. The skin. So, anyway, fast forward to the police come to our house, and they asked for what was going on, and then they went and they talked to her, and when the officer came back, he was super, super nice. There was a local to us story, I guess, that had happened a few years ago. I don't remember all of the details, but it was a woman, or parents, I guess, who had starved their child to death and like abused him, like a horrible, horrible situation, and nobody knew about it, and the kid had died, and it was incredibly tragic and beyond heartbreaking, and like there's not enough words to describe how terrible that was. And I guess she told the police officers that she had driven by the kid's house, and it made her think that she hadn't seen my daughter in a while, and she was really worried. And when we were outside, she's like, you truly never really know your neighbors. And I was like, okay. Again, if I didn't mention it, we are not friends. My neighbor, when we first moved here, she seemed like she was someone we could confide in, and somebody that we would be able to build this lasting relationship with. Guys, words are hard for me today. But then I learned very, very quickly that she is just a snake in the grass, and at any opportunity she can to improve herself, she will throw somebody under the bus, including us, to the builder and the HOA. That's another story for another day. But, that right there is why we are not friends. That, and she's annoying. And we've lived here for like 4 years. You guys, I can't tell you how many times the police have been called on one of her daughters because she just breaks into her mom's house. She does not live with her mom. She's never lived with her mom as far as I know. But, yeah. So she, I guess, had said to the police she was worried about my kid. And I was talking to her, and I was like, hey, what's my daughter's name if you're so concerned? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, how old's my daughter? Well, I don't know. Okay, so what do you know? Like, why are you so concerned about it? And I understand, like, don't get me wrong, there are people out there who have genuine concern and genuine reason for concern. Like, I'm not gonna deny that. Where is this one color that I'm looking for? Oh, it's right here. And I don't know if it's affecting it or not, but if my screen pops on, it might make it brighter, which I'm sure doesn't bother you guys, because the brighter, the more clear this is. Although this is a very cool angle, super tangent, because of the way it's laid out. Anyway, and so I guess she was worried because she hadn't seen my daughter. So, mind you, this is a woman who works in restaurants. And this is a woman who works typically from the morning until at least later in the day. Sometimes we'll see her leave like in the morning, and other times then we'll see her coming back at night. And I don't know if that's because she's out enjoying herself or whatever the hell it is that she does. Again, not my business. Or if she's working a double. But she works daytime hours. So when she said this, I said to her, but don't you work during the day? And she's like, yeah. So then when would you expect to be seeing my child? Just out of curiosity. And she just looked at me like dead in the eyes and she goes, I don't know, 3 p.m.? Which I was like, well, that's a very specific time frame, which BT dubs is right smack in the middle of my kid's nap. If you guys don't know, I have an almost 4-year-old. So whether she knew exactly how old my kid was or not is not super valid to the story. It just, to further prove she doesn't know my family. But at the end of the day, my kid is a school-aged child. Why would you expect my child to be around all day long? The best part about this is that last Monday, we were outside with one of the school therapists. One of our OT was here for an hour in the yard. We had seen our neighbor last week. My kid's not playing outside all day long because we're out doing stuff. We're trying to, make memories and things like that before it gets cold, and we can't do fun outdoor activities like going to pick apples like we did last week, or going to the pumpkin patch and like food truck events. Like, why are you all of a sudden concerned? She also told the police, she goes, and I don't know what they're doing, but neither one of them work, which again, none of her business, but also not accurate. My husband has been running his own business out of our home for a year and a half, ish. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So this grown ass woman is just coming into my house. The police ended up coming over and they were like, did you want to press charges? My husband said, no, we don't want to press charges. But they said, if she does it again, without hesitation, you call us right back. I was like, all right. I was really shaken up because the fact of the matter is, whatever her reasoning is, whatever was going on in that brain of hers, the fact that she thought it was totally okay to come into someone's house blows my mind. And then she looked at my husband to justify it and she goes, well, your door was unlocked. Again, you can't just walk into somebody's home. You can't do that. Like, that is against the law. So I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to get a no trespassing sign. I don't care. I was like, I'll face it directly towards her house if I have to. You wanted there to be a relationship between the two of us. There will never be a relationship between the two of us. If my daughter is outside playing and you are outside, I will usher her inside. I do not want this woman being any bit involved in my life. I still cannot believe that she just did that and then acted like it was nothing. And by the way, guys, I know the names of both of her children, including the one that has never lived here. I don't know exactly how old they are now because one's in, I think they're both college. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But you can't sit there and say you're so concerned for my child's safety and then walk into my home. Like, why wouldn't you call the police? Like, why wouldn't that be the first thing you do instead of like breaking into my house? Now, she's like, I didn't break into your house. I didn't break anything. And I'm like, okay, you didn't break anything, but you came in and you're not allowed to. And she still doesn't seem to understand that. I don't know what's worse, that this woman was to the point of being that drunk that she thought it was acceptable to go into somebody else's house, or that she was that drunk that she like had these crazy thoughts going through her mind. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm blaming this on alcohol, but I'm also not going to let her sit here and blame this on alcohol, because we're adults. You should be able to make proper adult decisions, and your decision was putting us in more danger than it was helping. And like I said, was supposed to be filming last night, and this all happened. And in the midst of this, like within an hour of her having the cops called on her, she posted a drinking meme on her Facebook. And I was like, So, my husband and I, neither one of us got that much accomplished last night because, well, we were both a little shaken up. And the police officer, he was like, well, I know you said you have a monitor in the baby's room. Can I look in on it? And my husband's like, do you want to go look, like, check on the baby? You can see that she's very much alive and well. She's just sleeping. And he's like, we're like, it's really not a problem. Like, this is, your job is to serve and protect. And if you want to see, like, go, please go. And so he did. And he was so funny because he kept saying, he's like, I hope I don't wake her. And I'm like, if she hasn't been woken up by all of this commotion, like, she's not going to wake up from that, you know? And, you know, I told Briar this morning, I said, did you know that there was a police officer that came to visit you last night? And she's like, whoa, like, she thought it was the coolest thing because she's a little kid. So my husband saw her scurry off to work this morning. She walks her dog, instead of in our development. I live at the very end townhouse. And so she will walk out the development and walk down to, like, the community field, whatever you want to call it. So we see her all the time. And I said to my husband, I was like, honestly, she could literally just look up. She could look up. Because my daughter's window overlooks her walk. And if my daughter is in the window, then she's going to see my daughter standing there. Debating if I want to put this color there. I'm not sure yet. I think I want to do, I don't know. Don't mind me going back and forth over here. And I don't have the right fan with me up here today. So it is super hot. And I didn't want to put it where I normally put it because of the way my setup is right now. I knew it was going to be really loud on the microphone. God, words are hard today, you guys. So anyway, that was the shit show that was our night last night. Of course, my husband's like, well, if she ever is going to apologize, I was like, she will never apologize. She is not that kind of person. She will never admit that she did anything wrong. So glad that her boyfriend was there to, I guess, be her support, but in reality it backfired because he's the reason we ended up calling the police, because he's like, fine, then call them. I was like, I will, I'll call them right now. And I have to say, shout out to our local police department. They came super, super quick. And like I said, they've been called numerous times for our neighbor. And he's like, if it makes you feel any better. And I was like, where are we going with this? He's like, none of the times that police have been called for her address have they ever been for her being violent or aggressive. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess that makes me feel a little bit better, but also not at all. So, that's, you know, that's how our night went. And it was weird because yesterday was such a strange day. I guess I'll tell you about all of my day yesterday and then go back through the rest of the week. We went to a local chicken festival. You heard it right. I live near-ish Bell and Evans, which is a chicken chicken hatchery. I don't know what you call them. If you guys see me, my arm. Oh, no, you don't see my arm. And they sponsored this event. But coincidentally enough, we ended up getting, my husband has been getting McDonald's breakfast sandwiches here and there for us. And we did one yesterday for breakfast. My daughter, I told this story, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. But she said she wanted a burger for breakfast the one day. And he's like, well, why don't I get you a sausage, egg, and cheese? It's like a breakfast burger. And so she's like, breakfast burger? Yeah. So that's how the let's get breakfast sandwiches from McDonald's tradition, I don't know, started. Anyway, so we did that. And then we went over to the chicken fest. We came with my mother-in-law. We set boundaries and limits with our child. Now, let me tell you. Parenting is tough. And I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm the most amazing parent that ever existed, or you should do what I do, or anything like that. But what I will say is one of the most difficult things about parenting is not setting the boundaries, but following through with them. If you say, if you do X, Y, and Z, we are going to leave, and then you don't leave, that's telling your child that next time they can push harder and they're still going to get what they want. And so while in the moment you're like, I just want to give in the tantrum. I just want it to be over. Really what that's telling your child is, I win. And, so we had set a boundary and she had broken that boundary. And like I said, we were with my mother-in-law and I said, it's time to go. And she acted like she didn't know how to walk. Her legs are broken. So I, scooped her up and I walked away. And every time I would put her back down, she would start to run. And I was like, Briar, like, this is not safe. You can't just run away. You can't run away. And of course she didn't care. Why would she? She's a toddler and she wants her way. And I remember I'm walking by and this young woman, a mom with a baby in the stroller, gives me like the glares of death. You guys, like, have you ever had somebody stare at you so hard it burns holes through you? Because that's what it was. And I whipped around. I don't think I've ever whipped around that quickly in my life for anything ever. And I just looked at her and I said, can I help you? And she just kind of like, oh crap, she's talking to me, and, you know, averted her eyes and kept going. And I was thinking to myself, like, girl, this is going to be you in 2 years when that potato of a baby that you have in there, which, guys, I kind of miss the potato stage, but, man, I was like, damn, anybody who has a child that is not like an infant, whether they are a young child now or they have grown past that stage, you know, no matter what you do, that's going to be, your kid is going to buck and they're going to want to revolt against what you say. And it has nothing to do with how good of a parent you are or how good of a child you have or how well behaved a child is. That's what they do at this age. They test the boundaries and they see what they can and can't get away with. And that's part of like the developmental stage. Let me tell you, as being in it, it is exhausting. It is exhausting. And I'm hoping that stage ends sooner rather than later. Uh-oh. Something happened to the baby monitor. It says not linked. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So somehow my daughter played with her monitor there. And coincidentally, my husband's down there. So he just reset it. But so now let's go to the beginning of the week. So on Monday, my daughter was super, super snuggly, which who doesn't love baby snuggles? If you don't love baby snuggles, you're a monster. Just going to put it out there. So Monday, the way it works in our world is my daughter gets her medicine in the morning and then she can't eat or drink anything for a minimum of 10 minutes. They'd like it to be a half hour. But what we do is we give her meds and then we invite her into our room and she snuggles with us. And then we go downstairs eventually and have breakfast. If you guys just heard, my husband just walked in the room. Say hi, husband.
Hello.
And so we're laying up there and we're having, like, I'm telling you guys, like, these were like the best baby snuggles ever. And next thing I know, I hear the doorbell ring. And I'm like, did you hear that? And my husband was like, I did hear that. We totally spaced. We had occupational therapy. Totally didn't realize. I'm laying there in my pajamas, like, no lie, a muumuu. My sister got me this muumuu when I was pregnant. My kid is almost 4. I've been wearing it for over 4 years. I love this thing. It's super hideous. It's the most comfortable thing I've ever worn. It's also the most ugly and least flattering thing I own. But we...
Stop giving it so much credit.
We ran downstairs. My husband went to talk to her. And she's like, oh, you know, blah, blah, blah. So we grabbed Briar some like breakfast on the go. I don't even remember what we grabbed her at this point. And we rushed outside and they had an OT session together. If you guys hear that sounds like a hairdryer. That's my husband's heat gun. But yeah, I was like, oh crap. So I've mentioned this before, but we totally, had had our schedules change after they came back from break. And I'm just having a really hard time keeping up with it. And yes, I do use like the calendar on my phone, but I just forgot to add it somehow. So that sucked. And then we ended up going to speech afterwards. And I was working on a special project, and I don't want to say it in like a way that's like, oh, it's a special project you guys don't need to know about. Like, I literally just mean like a special drill project. Sorry, just grabbing that drill, put it in the wrong spot. And actually, I did finish it, not at speech. So I am hoping to do a little post review on that project. And I set up like a to-go diamond painting configuration. I don't know what I want to call it. I think I might actually do a video on that. Would you guys be interested in seeing like what my setup looks like when I'm diamond painting outside of my house? Which I should also preface by saying, like, I've literally done it twice. Today was one of them. Last week was the other time. But anyway, I totally would show that if you guys want to. So we had speech. We did that. And then when speech is over, it's like lunchtime. And we ended up going to Longhorn Steakhouse. I have a question for you guys. Do you or anyone you know eat oranges whole? Like whole. In the rind and everything. I don't know what it is, but my daughter just eats the rind. Always.
Same with lemons.
She does it with lemons too. She takes like huge bites out of lemons. And if we ask her, like, can we peel it for you? She's like, no. I know that they have tons of like nutrients and stuff like that, but they're definitely pretty like acrid tasting. But I'm just wondering if anybody else has a kid or family member or themselves that likes to eat orange rinds, because I don't know. I find that interesting. I do not. I also don't like the little like white stringy parts on oranges. Like, get out of here. But we got that, and then we went over to Bed Bath & Beyond and picked up this super cute tiny waffle maker, like one of those Dash ones that people use for like to make individual waffles or chuffles or whatever the hell they're called. And mine was a Halloween one. And let me tell you, we did curbside pickup, and the girl who brought it out, I don't know that I've ever seen someone more miserable at their job or like whatever. Like, it seemed like it was torture for her to bring this out to us. And like, even when we were like, thank you, she was still like, meh. But we did that, and then
Yeah, it's not like it was a heavy package.
no, it was literally like this, like probably the size of like a grapefruit. It just, anyway, we got it. I have yet to make any little waffles on it. I was thinking I would like to do like some Halloween colored ones, like get some food coloring and do like orange waffles or green waffles. But then I'm like, that also affects the diapers, and I'm not sure that I'm down for that. But anyway, we did that, and then I got a cute little swaddle babe from Sweet Ann Made, which if you guys have not seen the video for my Sweet Ann Made unboxing, I will link that up in the eye. You guys, she makes the cutest little handmade stuffies and dolls, and these little swaddle babes are so freaking cute. This one was a mystery black cat, and it has stars on it. And if I have a photo, which I don't know if I took one or not, I'll throw it up here. If not, I'll see if I can grab one of her stock photos. And it has stars on it. And so we decided to name her Estrella, which is stars in Spanish. And hopefully I have been pronouncing that correctly. I think I have. But she is so excited. Oddly enough, we have another one that we call Celeste because it has a celestial pattern on it. So obviously I like this. But her new thing now that she likes to do is shriek, like banshee shriek at the top of her lungs for no reason. Her reasoning is because she doesn't like whatever it is that you said or asked her to do. But I've explained to her, like, you can't keep screaming like that because people will think that you're hurt or you're in need or something's wrong. And it's literally just you being a defiant 3-year-old, and it's driving me insane. But we drove out of town, like 40 minutes away, to where mommy and daddy used to go for our favorite sushi. And we were going to have like a special little dinner with her and all these things. And I don't know what was going on, but all of our stuff, like the stuff that Brian and I ordered, came out, and Briar still didn't have her food. And I was like, are you guys bringing out that bento box? Excuse me. And my husband's pretty sure that they forgot that we had placed more to the order, but it was a good 30-40 minutes later when they brought it out, and by then my kid was done. Like, she had been waiting, she didn't want to eat anything, so that was she pretty much wasted all of it. And it's not really the kind of food that would have translated well in like me taking it home and reheating it. She ate some edamame and obviously the orange that I was talking about. Oh, no, the orange was from lunch. But anyway, she did that and then mushed a bunch of stuff into her rice. So, you know, fun times were had by none. And it's interesting because this place is not near us. Like I said, it's like a good 40-minute drive. But it's near where I went to school one of the many times I went to college. And so I used to go there as a young single person. I would either drive down there or I would rollerblade down to the shopping center and get the sushi. And it's still the best sushi within like an hour of where we live. And it's not anything special, but they just have really great sushi. So, we've gone back to next time we have a sushi date, it's going to just be mommy and daddy, which means that we get mediocre sushi from somewhere local and eat it after our kid has gone to bed, or fingers crossed, if Briar gets into the preschool program, it'll be like a day date. I guess. I don't know. It's really disappointing because, you know, I enjoyed, and my kid ate a little bit of sushi, and she enjoyed it, but the atmosphere was not great for a toddler. And, you know, the woman kept saying to me, well, we're so busy. And I'm like, yeah, but
we made 6 sushi rolls.
Right. You guys made an entire boat full of sushi, and you couldn't bring out, like, her edamame. It was edamame, rice, stir-fried vegetables, and...
Vegetable roll.
And what?
Vegetable roll.
Or vegetable roll. So...
Sushi and stir-fried vegetables,
yeah. Like, it wasn't... Like, they didn't have to prepare any meats. Like, it was a vegetarian box, coincidentally. And I know that they have rice going all the time. Like, it wasn't like they were waiting to make a new batch of rice. It was just frustrating. And it felt like they cared more about the people that were doing takeout orders than the, like, 3 people that were sitting in the restaurant. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on it and complain on it. I can't find this color. Where are you at? This color. Number 32. There you are. So, anyway, that was Monday. So then Tuesday, I did 8 million loads of laundry. I think I did 4 loads of laundry on Tuesday. You guys, I can't. We did all of the adult laundry. And then by then I was tapped out and I was like, I don't want to do any kids' laundry. So I still have like 1 million loads of laundry for my kid to do. Like I said, not super thrilled about it, but I got to get it done. And how many is the most loads of laundry you have ever done in a day? Let me know down below. Then my husband went and got Starbucks. So, fun fact, my husband likes energy drinks and things like that. He does not like coffee, but he is super digging the caramel apple macchiato from Starbucks. He gets the large size, extra caramel, and extra shot of espresso. And my favorite is, he's like, when you get past that first sip, it's like straight coffee. And I'm like, yeah, there's like 4 shots of espresso. He's like, there's only 3. And I'm like, well, no wonder it tastes like coffee.
No, there's 4. They put 3 in it on its own. I get an extra shot.
Oh, I was right then. Either way.
You said I get 2 extra shots, and I only get 1 extra shot.
Okay, well, either way, that's a lot of coffee for a non-coffee drinker. And he's been digging these. So he went and got that, and then he got me the pumpkin cold brew with the cold foam. You guys, I've been doing Dunkin's since they came out with it. And dare I say, I like Dunkin' coffee better. For all my friends who don't have Dunkin' or Starbucks, I promise I'm not going to talk about this for a long time. But I like the coffee better at Dunkin', and I like the coffee drinks better at Starbucks. But man, their cold foam is giving me a run for my money. I am digging it over at Starbucks. But our Starbucks is a drive-through. I mean, yes, you can go inside, but like that sounds like torture with a toddler. And the line is like always a dozen cars deep. Like, I don't understand. At what time of day is this place not busy? Never. We went the other day and it wasn't that busy, but it still took us like 15, 20 minutes to get through. Anyway, so enough of my Starbucks tangent. But I don't know if I was talking about the grapes last week or not when we picked the grapes, but we discovered, this is a little mom hack for you, I guess. We use a grape cutter and it works fantastic. We use it for things that aren't grapes, and we use it like if we're preparing a salad, we'll put like the cherry tomatoes and stuff through it because it just cuts them and it makes them even, and it makes it less of a choking hazard if it's not in a round shape for a child or an adult, because like you don't have to be a kid to choke on food. But if you do freeze your grapes and then you put them through the grape cutter, it makes it much, much easier. So that's what we were doing, because all those grapes have seeds. And I feel like the juice is literally not worth the squeeze on this, because I'm spending like 40 minutes just cutting up and getting seeds out of the grapes just to eat them. And then my daughter asked for a bunch, and then she's like, I want more, Mommy. And I cut her up some more and I popped all the seeds out, and then I look on the window and the entire bowl, other than like 3, is gone, is still there. I'm like, damn it, kid. So I just spent all that time. And by then they had gotten mushy because they thawed out, and you know, nobody wants like frozen and then rethawed grapes. And then, we had a little bit of popcorn together, her and I, which if you guys did not know, and this has only been since the pandemic started, I eat popcorn every single day. Every single day. I have an air popper. I love it. At night when I'm done diamond painting, the first thing I do is go downstairs and I make a bowl of popcorn, and then that's my snack. And so it was fun to be able to share that with her. She likes it. She doesn't like it as much as Mommy, which, let's face it, I'm not surprised. I don't think it's a strange addiction. Although the one day I was like really sad. I was like, you know what? I can't stop thinking about it. And he's like, what? And I was like, popcorn. I really just want to go downstairs and have popcorn. He's like, then go downstairs and have popcorn. And I was like, it's not that easy. By the way, it is that easy. Anyway, so Wednesday we went back to Kinder Music, and my daughter hasn't been there since the beginning of the pandemic. And there was only 4 kids in total. Apparently there were 2 more kids signed up, but I guess they weren't there. And my daughter was definitely the oldest kid in the group. She was not the biggest kid, but she was the oldest kid. And she really had trouble warming up, which my daughter is a super outgoing kid once she's comfortable. She is very slow to warm, like very, very slow to warm. And we had her head teacher from the IU with us. She was basically there to observe. And she said to us, do you mind if I would like take her in on my own one day? And I was like, no, that's fine. You can totally do that.
Yes, I live for kids playing music.
What?
Yes, I mind. I live for the
kids. Oh, I thought you said I look for kids who play music, and I was like, what? And then I said to my husband, that would be a great opportunity for us to go do something together. And he's like, it's like a half-hour class. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Not that we would be going very far, because like there's not much to do where we live in general. But anyway, so next week, or this week, I guess, we are going to try to have Briar like help the instructor. Okay. There is an 8 and a 5, and not that they look super similar. Come on, focus. But in this area right here in the eye, they look super similar. So I have to pay attention here. Don't distract me. I'm just kidding. By the way, my husband went into my daughter's room and was like, just take a nap. And clearly from the loud jumping and dancing happening in her room. She clearly listened to what he had to say. But, I know. Which I told her that I was going to take her somewhere special after her nap. I didn't tell her what it is because that's literally the only thing she'll dwell on. And I told her it is conditional on you taking a nap. So she's going to be hella pissed when I get her up and we're not going to the trampoline park. I guarantee you her response will be, but I want to sleep. I want to take a nap. Girl, then take a nap. It's quite literally that simple. Anyway, you guys, kids are exhausting. But so we did that, and so this week we're gonna let Briar like help the teacher out, you know, hand out things to the other kids and things like that. So she has a little bit more of kind of like a role, then it will help her. And our teacher, she's fantastic. She's been doing this for a really long time. And she's very good at reading the kids and seeing when something new needs to be implemented. And she literally just like pulled out the bubble gun because who doesn't love bubbles, you know? And that is 100% the thing that broke Briar out of her shell. She got up, danced around, played with it. But it makes me sad because this is the last session we'll be able to do with our kid because they age out at 4. And I think that there is like an older kid program, but I don't think she does it. And somebody else I talked to said they did kinder music, but it was like through their church and it was like church based. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be putting her in like, I don't mind. We take our classes in a church, but it's not faith based. It's literally just, I rent a space in the church. So, excuse me, take some water real quick.
I wonder if that church is doing that open gym again.
I don't think so. Also, I think she's too old for it now. But, so we did that, and then she had actually recommended getting, like, a fidget toy for Briar, which is so interesting, because I remember, I went to school to be a teacher. I don't know if I've ever talked about that. And I was actually going to go into special ed. First, I was going to do elementary education, and then I decided I wanted to go into special ed because elementary ed was such a huge program. Like, there were so many people who wanted to be, like, the cute kindergarten teacher. And these were never things. Obviously, fidget toys didn't exist to the extent when I was in college 20-something years ago. But it's also different because like now they encourage it for the kids who are going to benefit for it. Like not everybody needs a fidget spinner or, you know, a stress ball or things like that. But for the kids that can benefit, they can be huge assets. And so I actually ordered a few, and we'll see. So I have, I don't even know how to describe it, but I've got one. It's clipped to my backpack right now. And I will give it to her to see if it will help when she is stressed and anxious and overwhelmed and all of those fun emotions that she struggles with. And then we went to Chili's for lunch, and you guys, no kids cups. I don't know. I feel like this has to be a national shortage of plastic supplies because we've been to restaurants that have no kids cups, but they have lids, or have lids but no kids cups. And I'm like, this is super weird because what are you going to do? Like what? I don't know. So they actually have, if you've ever been to Chili's, they have their, like the root beer mugs. I don't know how else to describe it. I guess beer mugs. But they are like hexagon shape or whatever. And they told us, they're like, well, we don't have any kids cups, but we have lids for these cups. And I was like, oh. And they had told us it was because like earlier in the pandemic, they didn't want the staff using styrofoam cups. They wanted them to just put a lid on their cup and then they could label whose was whose. So they got these lids made. And like, not that this guy had any reason to think otherwise, but he just assumed that would be fine. My kid could handle a, 20-ounce cup or whatever it was, filled it up all the way to the top and put the lid on. My kid picked it up with her hand and the whole thing like tilted. We're like, 2 hands, Briar, 2 hands, which like I can't get mad at her. She did not realize it was going to be that heavy. I was like, damn, dude. Like, and I guess most people assume that if you're not a baby that you can just drink out of a cup. It's not a big deal. But I'm here to tell you that not everybody can just drink out of a cup. Like, it's no big deal. If that were the case, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. But in reality, I am, because it is a big deal for us and our family. And it is what it is. Not much I can do about it now. But that's the reason why, if you guys have ever gone out to eat with me, which I don't know if anyone that I've ever gone out to eat with is watching this, but I always bring a drinking vessel for my child, like her water bottle or a cup, or I bring extra straws. That's something else a lot of restaurants do. They'll give you these tiny little cups. Excuse me. Man, my throat is super dry. And then they'll give you like a traditional length straw. And I don't know if you're catching what I'm putting down, but if you put in a straw that's 4 times the length of a cup that's this big, as soon as the kids try to drink out of it, they spill the cup. So I have a large, it's probably like a boba kind of straw, like it's that wide, but it's completely silicone and flexible, so that even if it is much bigger than the cup, she can still bend the straw and not have to worry about tilting the cup. So I have that in my purse or my diaper bag. Just little things. And I remember actually talking to one of my diamond painting pals, and she was like, that's really smart of you. And I was like, look, I don't think that I would have known these things had I not been like, it was a necessary thing for us, you know? But we did that. And then we were going to go to Target, which is in the same parking lot. But she didn't listen, so we had to stay firm on that boundary. But I did a pickup order. I'm going to insert a picture here, but I did a pickup order. Target has these food skulls and jack-o'-lanterns. And what I mean by that is it's literally a bell pepper that's in the shape of a skull, or a lemon that has a little face carved on it like a jack-o'-lantern. And I thought I had gotten all of them, which my husband had pointed out later in the week. He's like, do you have the watermelon? And I was like, what watermelon? So I found even more. But Target will not ship if it's under $35. I don't know why, because like I'll pay the shipping. And also the last Target order I did, they shipped it in 3 different boxes. I'm like, how is that cost effective for you? So we picked up one of them, and at that point I had thought I had gotten all of them, but I didn't. But now I think I've ordered all of them. So the picture that I put up obviously is not all of them. We are still waiting on, I think, 4 more fruits to come, I think. Either way, they're super cute. They're all like $5 or $10. They're battery operated. I don't even have the batteries in them. I just think they're super cute. My kid's got 3 in her room on her shelf. I've got a couple on, we use like our window as our like catch-all downstairs. Like, Briar, you want to come play with X, Y, and Z after your nap? Go ahead, put it on the window. Or, that's like the place that like she'll go back to. But she likes to put decorations there. And then I also got this little cutie, which if you've ever seen Little Shop of Horrors, little Audrey, but she's in a pumpkin. And again, this is $5. It's super cute. I have it as decor on my desk. And then Yom Kippur began at sundown on Wednesday, and then it ran through sundown on Thursday. For those who don't know what Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement for the Jews, and it is our most religious holiday. We fast, we ask for forgiveness, we typically go to services. We were going to do the family services online, but they happened to be during my kids' nap time, so that was tough. My child is not fasting or doing anything like that because she is still a child. My husband has some medical reasons that he can't fast, and so is me, and totally fine. So Thursday, Brian, I had encouraged him. I said, well, why don't you guys go do some lunch? So they went to Five Guys together, and he's like relaying all this stuff to me, and I think it's so cute, and it's totally my daughter. If you've ever been to Five Guys, like they'll call out the orders, and so like they would be like, order 17, you're up, and she'd be like, 17, order 17, like every person. And if you ask her, she's like, I got a burger with cheese and pickles, and that's it, and I liked it. And I was like, okay. She just had a really great time. I remember having those super, super fond memories of having daddy-daughter dates with my dad as a kid, and the special things that we would do, which a lot of them did involve food because I was the least picky eater of all of the kids. So we couldn't do a family dinner to, let's say, the Thai restaurant, but my dad could take me and we could have Thai food, and he would take me to do like little activities, and it was just really great to see Brian taking her to do little daddy-daughter activities and having a good time, and she had a great time. And then they went down to Five Below, again, in the same shopping center. And if this doesn't describe my kid's personality to a T, she picked up a monster truck and a fluffy toy dog. Like, that is Briar. She loves her VQs, as she calls them, little vehicles, her trucks, her cars, her trains, like all of that stuff. And she loves animals. And like, that's the perfect like iteration of my kid. Like, it's crazy. And then that was also the night that Monster Mash, DP Monster Mash officially kicked off. If you guys have not seen my unboxing for that, I will link that up in the eye as well. And then Thursday, I attempted to use, I got new pillows, you guys. If you had watched the WIP Chat where I talk about my pillows, if I can link it, I will. I'm not sure that I remember which one it is. I'm one of those people, I've had the same pillow for an exceptionally long time, and I had a really tragic experience trying to wash it, realizing that like my pillow had basically turned to dust. So I was really hopeful, and I got these new pillows, and I don't like them. However, when Briar comes in the morning to snuggle, she loves them, so I just keep putting it back on the bed for her. But I don't see my husband sleeping with them either, so I don't know if he just doesn't like his, or he just is fine with the one he already had.
Yes to both things.
Okay. So, Thursday night, I hopped onto Wolfpack's channel and went live with her and a few other, creators, and we worked on our Monster Mash canvas. So if you guys see me doing WIP Chats and I'm like floating between a few canvases, I'm currently right now working on this one for the DP, the Mexican DP along. And then I'm going to switch between this and Monster Mash. And then once this one is done, I will start my Worm Witch for Festival of Witches and Drills and Chills, and I will switch between that and Monster Mash. I don't want to fly through the Monster Mash because the event runs through October 31st, and like nobody wants the creators that are collabing on it to like finish it in a week. So, it's super cute though, you guys. I'm absolutely loving. The drills are such vibrant colors, and I'm totally digging it. So, and this one I love. I don't have that much more to go. Like, I just have the section that's like right off camera, just like a little band to do. And then to finish all the finishing touches with my special drills, I've got, oh, that means my husband just sold something. I've got more special drills in this canvas than anything else I've ever done, except for, obviously, when you purchase, like, a full crystal canvas. I've got ABs, and I've got crystals, and I've got quad cubes, and I'm loving making this one sparkles of the gods, honey. I love it. If you guys haven't heard this before, I do not like working with special drills. I don't like working with ABs. I don't like working with crystals. I just don't like the texture of them when I place them. I the people who get it, and the people who don't are like, that's weird, which is fine if you think that's weird. But guys, I love it. I love the way this is coming out, and it's worth all of the, like, weird uncomfortableness because it just looks stunning. And I cannot wait to share this with you guys. I will be doing a post review on this. Later this week, I also have another non-diamond painting crafting related video coming. I have an unboxing, and I don't know. I think that might be it. I don't know. Just stay tuned. If you guys haven't already done it, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. All that fun stuff. Yeah. So, Friday, okay, actually, let me go back to Thursday, oddly enough. My husband actually got shit done around here in terms of our neighborhood. We have a street light that's, like, directly in front of our house, and he called the builder who is responsible for it because we live in private property, and was basically like, look, bro, I've got all day. I work from home. I can call you every single day. I can show up to the office. Just fix the damn streetlight. And miraculously, it got fixed. And somebody posted about it in our Facebook group for our development and was like, thanks so much, Brian. I'm so happy you were able to get this done. And remember that neighbor from earlier who I said is a total snake in the grass? She's like, let's not forget that I got the landscaping taken care of. Bitch, this isn't about you. We're not talking about the landscaping that she claims she got taken care of, which I know she had nothing to do with, but...
And I didn't even take credit for it.
No, somebody else gave you the credit for it. So if that gives you guys a better example of, like, when I say I'm not friends with my neighbor, like, I'm not friends with my neighbor. I'm just not. And, you know, I have a feeling my husband thinks that she's going to just snarl at us when she sees us. And I'm like, oh, I think she's going to avoid, like, if she sees us outside, she's going to do everything in her power to go to the other side of the house or back inside or in her garage or whatever it is that she's doing. And by all means, you do you, boo, and you leave me alone. But Friday, I got the rest of those skulls that I was talking about. Our trash truck finally came. They stopped. She got so excited. Oh my gosh, they stopped and honked just for me. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yep, it is true. It's totally true. And whatever. She loves it. And then Saturday, we went to a Make-A-Wish food truck event. Now, I had done one locally a couple times with Briar, but it was at a different venue. And this year, they changed the location, which was perfect. And I dug it. I loved how they had done it. I loved the way they had things set up. It worked really, really well. And we got to eat lots of food. We got to ride the train. She got to ride the carousel, which she talked to my mom and she's like, my favorite part was riding horses. And I was like, let me translate, Mom. That means she went on a carousel. And then we got off the train and a little girl got into her own wagon and Briar started crying. And I'm like, Briar, it's not your wagon. It's this kid's wagon. It's her wagon. But we got to have, like, craft projects. We did some sand art. We planted some seeds. We did, we painted rocks and then we donated those rocks because the paint did not dry even out in the sun by the time we were ready to go.
Yours was dry.
Mine was dry, but then...
Put hers on by a gallon.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to take mine. And it's funny because I made mine like a little swirl. It was like solid and then a swirl. And I said to my husband, who is definitely the artist, not me, I said, well, look, I made mine look like my pop socket. And so she's like, Mommy painted her rock to look like her pop socket. And I mean, it was the closest thing for inspiration in that moment. So, you know, it is what it is. But I think this is a good place to stop, you know, so you guys can see the areas that are still open. I'm going to figure out which one of these places I want to put my gold sparklers in. I do have a decent amount left. I'm totally off frame. There we go. I want these in her wings, not her hair. If I had all the time in the world, I would love to have changed the color of the wings. It's the only thing that I wish with this that you could differentiate between the hair and the wings more easily. but it is what it is. It's a gorgeous canvas. Absolutely love this image. I cannot wait to show you guys all of the special embellishments that I've put on here when I am done with this. So that is all I got for you guys for this one. Again, I do apologize for getting this up a day late, but hey, shit happens. Cops were involved. Now it's over. Hopefully this was the beginning and ending to this story and not like, oh, next week, here's chapter 2. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content like this or, you know, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. 1 real life, 1 virtual. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell. So you don't miss out anytime I upload a video. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time. I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, guys!